What's up, music lovers? It's Elaine here with Neon Owl, taking music media to the core of what it should be: positivity, inspiration, good music, and really getting to know the artists beyond the industry. We feature up-close and personal interviews with some of your favorite artists, entrepreneurs, and other organizations within the dance music industry. Really figuring out what their motivations are behind why they do what they do, their struggles, challenges, wins, and their stories. Through that, we hope to slowly but surely change how music media is generated and consumed, and to inspire positive action. You can also check us out on neonowl.co if you want to see more interviews and video projects. If you have not followed us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we are Neon Owl Co. on there. Every now and then we do live stream interviews and events on our Periscope. So if you have not checked out our Periscope yet, we are Neon Owl on there. If you like what Neon Owl is about, please let your friends know about us, share our interviews. We would also love to hear from you as far as what artists you'd like for us to interview next. Maybe there's a cool organization that we should know about, or even if it's a charity or cause that you're passionate about and want Neon Owl to work with. So a lot of you guys know that a couple weeks back we actually launched a Thunderclap campaign for Neon Owl to expand our social reach. If you've already supported it, thank you so much. And if you have not, please do by visiting tinyurl.com/neonowlco. All you have to do is click support with your Twitter, Tumblr, or your Facebook, or all three if you have it. Make sure to share it with your friends, and I will make sure to have a link with the show notes page as well. You'll definitely find out more details as far as the projects Neon Owl has for 2016, and we will be releasing more info on our first charity fundraiser event in December, somewhere in San Francisco. So make sure you check back on our website, neonowl.co, for more information. Thank you to everyone that has supported Neon Owl so far. This is my baby, it's my passion project, and really something that I feel like the music industry needs right now, to bring positivity, inspiration, and real stories back into music media. And with that, build a community of music lovers that want to do something good. Today, I am very excited to have Brandon here with us, aka Ark Patrol. He's in Portland right now, and at a very young age of 20, he's actually found a lot of success. He actually got discovered a few years back on Soundcloud, and since then, he's come a long way. Has an album coming out on 11/20, so that's this upcoming Friday, called Primo. So make sure you check it out. And here is Brandon. All right, Brandon, so how's it going?
It's going good.
Yeah, we always like to start with a positive focus. So something that you are excited about or grateful for?
I'm grateful for all my fans, my manager, and all the people who are like helping me out with all my music and stuff. Like I couldn't have gotten any shows or anything without them. It's not just me. It's a bunch of other people helping out too, and I'm super happy that I have all these great people to help me out.
Yeah, so tell me about how you got your start.
I started actually producing music about 2.5 years ago when I got GarageBand on my MacBook, and it's been a lot of time in my room just making beats and stuff. And then from there on, I first met my manager Booty when one of his artists recommended my song to him, and he really liked it, and he ended up contacting me on Facebook, just like asking me what I'm doing and if I'd be down to release on his label.
Yeah, he told me that you guys actually just met, like recently, face to face.
Yeah, it was only a couple months ago. It's been on Skype until then, but he came over to Los Angeles and we got some food and got to meet. It was really cool.
And at what age did you realize that you wanted to make music, or was it just like for fun?
Ever since I was like a little kid, I've always been like making music. Like when I was like 10 years old, I was playing piano in like church, and then I used to play in band at school, high school, and then after that, I also had like a little jazz band and stuff. And then I just never stopped. Like I've always loved it.
Yeah. And what influences you to make your music, or what influences your sound?
Definitely, I love just going through like super old albums I find on YouTube and just listen to them and losing myself in there. Like just letting Spotify like take over for a while. All right, Pandora used to be my jam. I used to just let it go on for a long time, and then eventually you hear something you like and you just go off on that. And there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and also friends just have the best recommendations.
Yeah. How would you describe your music for those that haven't listened to it yet?
I hate this. This is the hardest thing to do. I would say it's electronic hip hop with an alternative pop.
Yeah. Well, I was listening to the album. It's really good, and you have that coming out Friday on the 20th. So, can you tell us a little bit about how long it took for you to put together the album, or like what inspired you to make it?
Yeah, really, it's this album is probably less of a product than I would want to release. It really is like just a whole bunch of experiments polished up to look nice. Some of them, especially later on in the album, you can kind of hear that it's like whoa, is he really like, are you really gonna try that? But yes, I am trying that, and I think it'll be okay. Really. Like this is I'm thinking of this album like a precursor to something that's gonna come later that'll be more complete. This is just kind of like a pre-game.
And what's your favorite track on the album?
Probably the last one, which is already out. It's called Sinner.
Okay. Yeah, I like that one too. And so, Ark Patrol, how did you come about getting that name?
The name actually comes from years ago. I was like a little kid, and I had for Christmas I got this toy soldier that I used to play with all the time in my room, and the branding on the package, it was Arkansas Company Patrol, but it was abbreviated, and so it actually just said Ark Patrol. So when I needed a name, I just wrote and it said Ark Patrol, so I just rolled with it.
Yeah. Okay. And so, you've been making music for a couple years now. What do you think is the most enjoyable part of it, and then the least enjoyable?
Right now, it might change, but right now it's when I'm completely alone and I lose myself in the process, like having an idea and then chaining together like a million other ideas, and then looking at the clock, like in an amazing amount of time later, it's like 4 a.m. What did I do? That's so great. It's like a whole nother world, and that's probably one of my favorite parts now. The other part is collaborating with really cool people like singers and vocalists. It's really fun. I like it.
Yeah. So what's going through your mind like when you're working on a track until 4 a.m.? Like, what are you usually thinking about, if you're thinking at all?
I don't know. I think really I'm just trying not to forget all the ideas I have. Like it's just like, all right, I want to do this, but then like I also want to do this, and like which one should I do first? And like, okay, now that's done. I want to do this, and I need to make sure that I finish this up. And it's like, yeah, it really is. It's like a fighting game, like Street Fighter. You're just chaining a combo together, punch after punch after punch. You're not really like thinking about. You just know that you're killing your opponent, and that's like what I'm trying to do.
That's a nice way of describing it. So what about then the most difficult thing?
Since this is a hobby, more or less, it can be hard to keep the right amount of like discipline, and even on the opposite side of the spectrum, make sure that you're not trying too hard, because it really is like completely up to you. You're your own boss, and however much time you put in, that's what you're going to get out of it, of course. And I've been on both sides where like I've just been like too lazy, like taking it too easy, and then I've been trying way too hard and just like stifling any creativity. So it's a challenge to try and hit the balance.
What do you normally do to try and make sure you get that balance?
Well, I like to hang out with my friend here, and to go on a walk every now and then, or we go skateboarding or something, and that really helps to like clear out the mind. And what really will happen when I'm out on a walk is I'll start thinking of what I need to do. I'll get the urge to come back and finish something, that, and I'll come back and I'll be like, all right, I'll talk to you later. I don't want to talk to you now, and then I'll just jump in the room and just work for a while because I really want to get something done.
Yeah. And how do you decide when a track is done or when you have your final product that's good to go?
I don't think they're done. Like, everything they're all unfinished as far as I'm concerned. They're just never. I think there's always more that could be done to the track, and maybe when it's like 70, 80, maybe even 90% done, that's maybe when it's ready to be seen by fans or people you care about. But it's probably just wrong to show it to anyone before that, and it's wrong to wait until it's completely done because most people are like never really done, especially me.
Would you say you're like a perfectionist?
And that's why this album is actually kind of, I really didn't want to release it at first because I was like, it's not done, like it's not ready, and it's also kind of junk, so I didn't really want to. But that's just me being like elitist and a perfectionist. So I think it'll be all right. Yeah.
Well, I listened to the whole thing, so I think you'll be fine. So when you're making your music, what do you want your audience to feel when they listen to it?
Ideally, I would like them to feel... I wanted to evoke memories. Like, if I could hit on any previous memories without having formed one, if they could listen to something of mine and say, this reminds me of, when I was younger, or like a whole era of time beforehand, that's exactly what I would love to hit. I'm trying to kind of hit that emotional vulnerability just a little bit, and also have a good time while you're listening to it, so it's kind of a different balance.
Yeah. And so did you have any musical influences growing up?
Yeah. I used to listen to a lot of like blues, rock, alternative stuff, some indie rock too. I had the Arctic Monkeys, I had Black Keys, Weezer was a huge one, the Strokes, and then also Gorillaz. There's a lot more, but those are like
Yeah. Do you have a favorite track of all time?
It's either it's either Plasticities by Andrew Bird or Empire Ants by Gorillaz.
Yeah. Okay. And if you can collaborate with any artist on the planet, who would that be?
I don't know. I don't think I can answer that. Harley Stratton would be cool, but that's just because that's kind of like a fantasy. Otherwise, I really don't know.
So what's next for you? What do you see on the horizon for you over the next couple years?
I am afraid to say, but probably a lot more shows. I just got a show in New York about a week and a half. It's kind of blowing my mind right now, and I'm gonna fly over there, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff lined up for next year, and I'm just gonna keep myself super busy. I'm working on a really huge album that probably won't even come out till like 2017 or something. It'll take a lot of time on that, but then just smaller singles until then.
Yeah, where are you coming to play in New York?
It's called the Knitting Factory. I think it's in Brooklyn. I'm not sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm here right now, but I'll probably catch you in San Francisco.
Yeah, you should totally.
So if you were to, let's say you're starting to play shows now, but if you had like one event, venue, or festival you wanted to play at, what would that be?
Probably the dream, and also really unrealistic, would be the Boiler Room. That's always been my go-to whenever like I want to see someone set. I always watch the Boiler Room set, and that's like where I learned a lot of set production and arrangement and stuff like that. It would blow my mind to play there, so I probably shouldn't ever do that, but
Yeah. Okay. And if you were to describe what music means to you, what would that be?
Music is an expression of your rhythm. Like, it's an expression of how you're feeling, um, how you want other people to feel, how alone you are. I don't know. A lot of different things. That's a good question. I'm going to think about that.
Okay. Well, we want to get to know you a little bit better, so we'll get into some of the personal questions. So we'll start off with, what did you want to be when you were a little kid?
I wanted to be a bunch of things. I wanted to be a magician, a detective. I wanted to be a chef. Kind of am a chef right now, but
are you? What's your dish? What's your dish?
Right now it's like, I think it's like chicken fettuccine.
Do you cook a lot?
Basic pasta, but yeah, it's two guys here, so we have to cook our food all the time, and we're trying to be healthy, so we try to not to eat fast food.
So why did you move to Portland?
I had two jobs down in Los Angeles, and one of them was an okay job. The other job was kind of horrible, and I had a falling out with my boss. He started yelling at me in the middle of my shift.
Yeah.
And we went outside, and he blew up, and someone called the cops, and basically I quit on the spot.
Yeah.
And I had been wanting to quit my other job as well. And when I went home, I messaged my friend who lived up in Portland just to say, like, how's it going? What's your living situation? Are you having a good time? Whatever. And he told me that his roommate had just bailed on him. And I was like, wow, it's kind of like a perfect situation. If I wanted to go up there, I would have a spot. When this is my friend from high school who I've known since I was 12. So, we've known each other forever, and we're really comfortable with each other. So he was like, yeah, you should totally come up. So I quit my job, packed up, drove up to Portland. I was going to get a job up here, but so far it's worked out where I don't have to. Like, I can just make music all day, and it'll pay for me.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, up until when were you working a job, and did you think that your music career was going to be able to sustain?
I don't know. It was actually only about 2 months ago. I said a month and a half, but I think it's 2 months now. And up until then, I was working that job, and I really was planning on getting a job here. I was going to work at Pizza Hut or whatever and just keep music as a hobby. And my manager was like, we're doing this with other artists. Their music is paying for their life right now, and you can do the same thing. And I was like, all right, well, we'll go until Christmas and see if we can make it happen. And so far, it's working out. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah. Okay. And so, growing up, did you have a specific role model in your life, or who would you say is your biggest role model?
I'm not really sure. I know I've had quite a few role models. There aren't really too many specifically in music. Maybe I know Harley's one that I look up to a lot, and sorry, I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, I can.
It's okay. Shot, but Harley is really cool. Yeah, I'm sorry, Harley Stratton. For anyone watching, it's Flume. Yeah, his way of doing things is just phenomenal, and he has a whole different side of production that many people touch on. So it's always inspiring.
Yeah.
And try harder.
And he's amazing live. So I saw him recently. I was just mind blown.
So jealous.
Yeah. If your house was on fire, what would you take with you?
I would love to say something that has emotional value, but I would probably just grab my laptop and has everything.
Yeah. And what's a guilty pleasure of yours that you don't share too often?
Probably Oreos and milk. That's that
I guess. Yeah. How much of it do you eat?
The entire package. It's really bad. I requested it. I put it on my rider for shows, package of Oreos.
Uh-huh.
So I have one every time I play a show, and it's good.
Like before, during, after?
The entire show, yeah.
So like you're just like DJing and like eating the Oreos?
Yeah. I have a break, I eat an Oreo, I talk to the audience, I eat an Oreo. Everything is combo. But...
Yeah. Okay. What's one word you would use to describe yourself?
Clueless?
What?
That's how I feel about myself. I don't know. Someone else would be better qualified to answer that.
Yeah. Okay. And what other hobbies do you have outside of making music?
I like to do a lot of stuff. I like to skateboard. I play games all the time. I was playing Fallout 4 today earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. And hiking, of course, and physical activities. They're always fun. Hanging out with friends.
Mm-hmm. I've talked to a lot of producers, and for some reason, almost all of them say gaming. Do you think that there's like a correlation between like making music and being a gamer?
Definitely. It kind of goes along with the lifestyle. I mean, if you enjoy being in a room, and doing your own thing, gaming is definitely one of the things that I love to do.
Okay. And do you have a greatest fear in the world?
Ooh, fear. Yeah, my greatest fear is that I'll just not try as hard as I should. I'll just not put out as much or as good content as I know that I can. So every day is like a struggle to make sure that I'm on top of myself and I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah. So why do you think that, or what would hold you back from that?
Just laziness, and complacency. Like, I have such a good life already. I need to be unhappy with myself in order to really get more out of my work and everything I need to. Because that's where the bulk of inspiration comes from. When you're not happy with something and you want to change it. Being a perfectionist. And I'm a little bit afraid right now because I'm really happy with my life, so it should probably be more uncomfortable, and I should be afraid of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think of, like, when you get out of bed or you're like, okay, I gotta make music today? Like, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I actually have dreams about producing or something, what I need to do. So I wake up and I'm like, oh, I actually have to do that now. So I just wake up, jump on the computer, check my email, and then go pull out my laptop and get to it immediately, or drink some coffee, whatever, if I have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's more instinct than anything else. Just like what to do, so do it.
Yeah. And for a lot of aspiring artists out there, what kind of advice do you have for them? They're just like starting out or trying to make it.
Let your curiosity carry you everywhere that you want. Just clear time for yourself to explore whatever it is, and don't be afraid. Do whatever you want, have fun, make mistakes, make tons of mistakes, and enjoy yourself. As long as you're having fun and you don't make it a job, definitely don't make it a job until later on.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find success at some point, I mean, if you really don't like it, you'll quit, but of course, as long as you're having fun, you're going to go somewhere.
Yeah. And so what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
A lot of people message me on Twitter. Message me on Facebook, but Twitter is a lot easier for me to see, or just email me. My email is on my SoundCloud. I see all that. Hit me up. There's a bunch of ways. It's, Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or mail me.
Mail you? like snail mail?
Like snail mail. Yeah. Send me Oreos.
Okay. All right, just a couple more questions before we let you go. What's something that you feel like the music industry needs a little less or more of?
Music industry is a very big place, so I hesitate to give any kind of generalization. But off the top of my head, we probably need a little more sharing. There's a lot of resources out there that even I'm not finding until now. There's a lot of samples that are just like shared among producers and stuff that are kind of like the cheat sheet to getting work done. And I think a lot of younger producers who have really good ideas are slightly held back because they aren't able to find them, or they're looking in the wrong place. And I think it would be good for everyone if we could, if we started sharing our resources a lot more, and that way we have a better competition. There's better music, and everyone can really do their best and put out what they can do.
Yeah. Okay. And what about the world? What do you think that the world can use a little bit more or less of?
Less country. I don't know. That's a good question. I really can't say. I'll have an answer to that like in the next year. Like as I travel around and play shows, I'll find out. But
yeah. Okay.
So far, I don't know. And
last question is, what kind of a legacy do you want to leave behind, or how do you want to be remembered as?
Oh my God, this question. When I saw this question, I was like, what do I say?
And I mean, that's something that can change over time, right? But I guess as of you, the person that you are like today.
What I really want is, I would want to be remembered, but not for anything personal. I just want to be remembered for my accomplishments. Like I would just love to be a stepping stone in the world's progression of music. I would love to be the Nikola Tesla. Just find a bunch of things that don't work and help other producers find what does work.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Awesome. All right. Well, any last words for your fans that are listening?
If you guys are watching this, thank you so much for listening and for making it this far through the interview. You're a champ, and I love all of you. You're great. Thank you so much for listening and supporting me in whatever way. A lot of people ask if I'm coming to play a show near you. Chances are I will and I want to, so stay tuned. And I hope to see you in person.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Brandon.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. That was Brandon, aka Ark Patrol. He is way too modest, way too humble, because I listened to the entire album and thought that it was amazing. Some of my favorite tracks would be Primo, Escape, and Sinner as well, just like him. And also, before the album, Ellie, his remix of Ellie is actually one of my favorites. So make sure you check out his album, out on November 20th, this upcoming Friday. And I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Neon Owl Co. if you haven't already. Support our Thunderclap at tinyurl.com/neonowlco. And lastly, for more interviews and video projects, check out our website, neonowl.co. See you guys next time.